Hey everybody, it is your girl Dr. Kelz. Thank you for checking in for another episode of Kicking It with Dr. Kelz podcast. That's podcast with a K because it's Dr. Kelz. This is going to get on my nerves, so we're going to move this right on out of here. I don't like it. I don't know what it's going to do with the voice quality, but I'm going to move it because I don't like it. So I figured it'd be great. It is November, Men's Mental Health Month, to have a conversation about men's mental health. Be on the lookout. I have asked some people to be a part of a panel, direct interviews about men's mental health. This is a very important topic that does not get a lot of shine. Mental health in general doesn't get talked about as much as other forms of health, but our men, this is a topic we need to talk about a lot more. So I'm excited to be talking about this. You know, I'm excited about everything, right? So I have some good stuff that I want to talk about, food for thought, things I want you to think about. Shout out to the men who participated in No Shave November as a symbol of mental health, standing in solidarity for awareness and people who currently struggle. Men fight silent battles all the time. A lot of us fight silent battles. I talk about mental health a lot, but men really fight those silent battles. And I want to explore a little bit why this happens. The smiling, saying I'm good, or the misunderstood anger that comes that could be fueled from something else other than what it actually looks like it is. So men are less likely to get help for mental health. It's a fact. Google it. Those of you who like AI, go ahead and put it in your chat, GTP. You will see that men are less likely to get help for mental health issues than other people. It's there. We could go a little bit further. We could talk about minority men in mental health and how they are even more or less likely to get help than someone else. So I have some notes, some things that I jotted down that I don't want to forget this time because I've been practicing using nothing, but this is an important topic and I don't want to forget anything that I think is important to talk about. So do have some notes. I am going to be looking into it. So any man that wants to be a part of this or wants to have a conversation about mental health, I would love for you to join me on a live podcast. Share your story, share your strategies, share anything that has to do with strength in relation to mental health, because other men need to hear this. Did you know that men are far less likely to seek mental health support but carry some of the highest rates of untreated stress, depression, and trauma? These are the things that I want to make sure that I don't forget to mention as we're talking about this. So I want to start with the age-old saying. Some of you have been following me. I did do a segment, several segments, just small little blurbs a while ago about men and mental health. It was like last summer, I think I did. It went well. It really started some great dialogue. So some of that information is going to be revisited. So I want to start with the idea of this strong man. What's a strong man? And the messaging that men receive as children. Don't cry, man up, handle it, deal with it, push through it. You got to be the rock. Real men don't cry. Those messages, they're not true. Real men do cry. There are other people that can handle situations other than a man. No, you just don't have to deal with it. You're a human being too. Being strong does not mean you have to be silent. It doesn't mean you suffer in private. It doesn't mean that you have to go through mentally challenging things like the horrible taste of medicine that you're drinking. It's just wrong. There are some social scientists, psychologists, sociologists, whomever, whatever you deal with, look at, that will say this is dysfunctional. is dysfunctional to tell your man children you are not supposed to cry. Why is it dysfunctional? A kid is a kid. A kid is a human being. A human being is a man. A human being is a woman, right? We all have emotions. We're emotional beings. To tell someone it's not okay to cry isn't cool. Um, be tough. Who wants to be like that all the time? So, what happens is these kids and these teenagers become men that are emotionally unavailable, that shut down. They shut up. They say nothing. They don't want to say anything. They just deal with it. So I'm shutting down. I'm shutting out. I'm shutting up. I'm not saying anything, but I need help. I'm not on this journey alone, right? How is it helping your child by telling them you got to be strong, or if you cry, you're a sissy, or real men don't do that? Well, what do real men do? That's what I want to know. Let me know. Drop it in the chat. What is it that real men do? Teaching people not to be emotionally vulnerable or how to express their feelings, it is a problem. And then we co-sign it, right? We reinforce it. Oh, good job. You pushed through that. Suck it up. You did that, right? Never let them see you sweat. Never let them see you cry. We're reinforcing this behavior. Might work when he's a kid. He's so strong. Give me some time because I am going to do a podcast about your strong friend, right? When that messaging comes through that I'm so strong, I'm so strong. Okay, but what happens when you're really not? What happens when you need something? So this messaging is it's just all wrong, right? So being strong doesn't mean not having emotion. Being strong does not mean that you can't be vulnerable. It's a mixed message that I believe that a lot of men suffer from. Um, a lot of people don't know this about me. When I first started my dissertation process, my PhD process, I actually wanted to do some type of research study on men and depression. Um, I had three brothers, so I've always had a soft spot for men. That's just my thing. That's just something I did. And I went another direction for, personal reasons, but I have so much literature about the silence that men face, that they hold on to when it comes to their mental health, because they don't want to be judged, or they don't want to be looked at like they're weak. So let's talk about this a little bit more. Being able to say that I'm not okay, to me, that's strength, right? Not one person is on this earth is designed to carry the weight and the brunt of everything. So we got to keep that in there, um, in here rather, in our forefront, that men are human beings, right? They're not this um, illusion of rocks and steel and all this stuff. Under all of that, there is still a human being. So when men express emotion, right? I'm not saying all men. So when I say men, please don't be like, oh, she's talking about all men. No, if it don't apply, let it fly, right? If it don't apply, let it fly. You don't believe that, that's fine. It doesn't matter. That's what we're doing this for, right? Men tend to show up in their emotions in anger, a very angry person, right? I've shut down, I've shut up, or I'm just angry all the time at everything. I'm aggressive, cussing people out. Maybe I'm beating people up. I'm just angry, right? When's the last time you asked a man in their life if they were sad about something? Think about that mixed message, like when it comes to grief. If men aren't supposed to cry and someone you love passes away, are we not supposed to cry? Are we not supposed to acknowledge it? How do we handle disappointment? Are we going to just distance ourselves and act like it didn't happen and we're not going to talk about it because we're assigning some type of rite of passage to our emotions? No, men carry so much pressure. And, I'm a mother, guilty, right? Guilty of the messaging that we tell our young children and eventually tell our men. So men carry this pressure. Boys are socialized a certain way, right? We can go all the way back to the socialization process. Who said boys wear blue and girls wear pink? Who said that? Somebody did in society, right? It's been adopted. We socialize men. So men have all this pressure to provide, to perform, to keep it together, to even get it together, right? Always be the backbone, never be the burden. And that's another topic too. We're going to talk about what happens when there's the strong woman, because there's not a strong man. So it's all going to get in here. It's going to get messy. And I love it because everybody has an opinion. That's what's great about it. Opinions are like belly buttons. We all have one. So please don't be afraid to say how you feel, right? This is just one side. You might have another side, and that's okay. When a man has all this pressure to perform and do all this stuff, it creates loneliness, it creates isolation, right? What am I supposed to do with all this pressure when I'm falling short? What happens? Nobody sees my efforts, but they're there. Stressed, overwhelmed, being emotionally exhausted, and still have to show up, expected to show out every day. And you know what? A lot of men do show up and show out. They smile and they're holding the globe on their back, the weight of their shoulders, and there's nowhere to put it. I feel years ago, I've always, like I said, had an interest in this. I just always have. It's always been something that's been there for me. And I remember that I was told no man wants to hear a woman talking about mental health. No man wants to talk to a woman about their mental health. And what would a woman possibly know about mental health? Well, I'm going to tell you this. I recently took the H.A.T.S book I wrote and I aligned it to H.A.T.S men because the H.A.T.S that I talk about in my book, even though it's written in the feminine, their life experiences, they are totally relevant to men. What does a woman know about a man's experience? What does a woman know about mental health? Well, a woman knows a lot because guess what? She's a human being too. And there are some women that have the man role. So tell me what you think about that. Drop that in the chat, about is there a platform? Even when you don't understand someone's 100% personal walk or plot, whatever the case is, you don't have to understand it to empathize. If I could talk, what would I say? To show empathy, right? You don't have to. You can understand and feel someone's pain, their hurt. You can be right there with them and not walk that journey. Like you can be. So you don't have to actually have the exact same experience, right? It is nice when men support men, and it is nice when there is a platform for men to support men, but it doesn't always work that way. So tell me what you think about that. But here we are, we're talking about it. Men feeling all this pressure. So men, as you're listening to me, I want you to think about this. What's one emotion that you haven't allowed yourself to feel because you thought it made you weak? I don't want you to put it here. That's not why I'm asking you to do it. What I want you to do is just think about it. What is an emotion that you have been holding on to that you're not speaking about because you feel like it might make you look weak? Is it sadness? Rejection? Do you feel defeated, unworthy? These are all emotions from the human experience that we hold on to. Um, Handling emotions and dealing with emotions and putting them out in the forefront, you're doing yourself a favor by being emotionally intelligent. You are. Doesn't feel like it, but you are. What happens when men, I'm going to say anybody at this point, right? But men, because we're talking about men, are not expressing themselves, or not tapping into their emotions, and they're hiding this emotional pain, and they're not allowing it to come out, right? Because maybe they don't trust. This is what happens. Let me give you a little list here that I have. Irritability, right? I already talked about anger. Shutting down during conflict. I don't want to talk. I'm just going to say nothing. Maybe they become the yes man. Okay, well, whatever you say. Maybe they walk away. Maybe they not dealing with this. Difficulty expressing what they need. What do you need? You don't even feel comfortable saying what you need because you can't express how you feel. Maybe they're short with their children. Someone who's not good at expressing their emotions. Numbness or detachment. They don't feel anything, or they just totally detach from it because it's just too much to bear. The short fuse, again, with the responsibilities, constantly have to show up, show out. We could go into substance abuse, alcoholism to cope, engaging in other things to cope. There are so many things that are there. So if you tell me that men can't be exhausted emotionally, I say, yeah, no, that's not true, because they can. You can be strong and emotionally vulnerable. You can do both. Um, when you spend your whole life carrying weight alone, of course you're going to think you're alone. How do we change this culture? How do we change this topic? How do we let our men know that, yes, they can be emotionally vulnerable? How do you know if you were that person on the other side? Is your partner saying he doesn't talk, he shuts down? He doesn't really, it doesn't look like he knows how to communicate. Well, he's probably afraid he won't be listened to, because he's got a lot of stuff going on up here in his head and his mind. He just don't know how to get it out. The real truth is, maybe nobody ever told him how to express himself. The constant message of, you just show up. We don't cry about it. We don't complain about it. You do it. That's what men do. Who taught you how to say, no, I can express myself and I can say these things? So think about this. How can someone express what they were taught to ignore? How can someone identify what they were taught to hide? How can someone give language to emotions they were punished for showing? Again, how can someone express what they were taught to ignore? How can someone identify what they were taught to hide? And how can someone give language to emotions they were punished for showing? I'll wait. What's the answer? Men, you deserve connection too. You deserve to feel safe, and you deserve relationships that are open without the risk of feeling like you're taken advantage of, or, let's get into it, being victimized or being used against you later on if you are vulnerable. Let's talk about it. It's there. I want to talk about it. You opening it up with your emotions and your feelings, it should be a relief, not something that, you're sitting there like, oh my gosh, is this going to come back to me, right? Is it going to come back to me? Ladies, you want a man that's emotionally vulnerable, then you can't use it against them later on. Oh, you're a punk, you're this, you're that. You can't get both. You can't ask him to trust you with his most inner thoughts and then you use it against him or you emasculate him because of it. It don't work like that. Another level of fear. The place that I'm supposed to feel the safest is the place that I'm being torn down, the place that I can't be myself, right? Any relationship. Okay. So, how do we fix this? What's the solution? Because we're going to continue to go on and on about this, but this is just for this. How do we fix it? Can we fix it? We need a whole paradigm shift, right? Going all the way back. How you raise your children is your business. I encourage you, go look it up. Look at the statistics. Look at the peer review articles. Look at real research that shows the impact of this negative messaging on our men. Men, you can work hard, you can provide for your family, you can do all these things and still tap into your emotions. Men get to be whole too. All of you. Holistic wellness, right? Financial, physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, holistic, all of it, not just bits and pieces that society says is okay for a man to engage in. A man is a human being too. I'm going to keep saying that, right? There are kings, there are providers, there are protectors, all these things. Let them have that space because they bleed, right? Bruised and still breathing. Let them have the space. So, guys, I know there's poetic justice among you, right? Journal. Write it down, rip it up, burn it up, get it out. Don't walk around with it stuck to you. Find a place to get rid of it. I can't remember that one movie, but the lady used to write stuff and she would go in the garden and bury it, right? I know it's corny stuff that women do, but there might be stuff that men do too. Men write. Men are amazing writers. They are creative. Find a way to create. Find a way to pour that energy. It doesn't always have to be sports, right? It could just be something to soothe you, to calm you down. When you're feeling anxious, when you're in these moods, make sure that you are physically taking care of your nervous system, right? Fight, flight, freeze. When things are intense, your body automatically goes back to something. Learn how to calm your body down, whether that be deep breathing, muscle relaxation techniques. Pause. When something happens and you fly off the handle and you don't hold on to it, that's when you do things that you regret. When you could just stop for a minute, breathe, right? Take it all in, deep breathe. Give yourself some time before you respond. Calm your body down first, okay? Reset that nervous system because when your body is calm, your mind is calm and you start to get a clearer picture. So don't be so quick to fly off the handle. Therapy. Men don't go to therapy. And it's a culture thing too, right? It is. Remember in the beginning, I said that there is differences between who uses therapy services and who does not. Therapy is not that age old come in, lay on the couch, tell me what you're thinking. It's a place that you can dump. It's a safe place. It's a place that you're protected by law to say whatever it is that you want to say about whoever, however, whenever, whatever. As long as you're not saying you're going to hurt yourself or you're going to hurt someone else, therapy is a great place. Most therapists take health insurance. I still personally have a problem. I think mental health care should be free. I think that mental health care should, if it can't be free, have a very low caseload. I just lost a client because we're at health insurance reset, and until they meet their deductible, it's $140 some a session. I'm not okay with that. I have established relationship with this person. So um, there are other ways to get what you need. Men groups. Some of you might attend church, other faith-based organizations, groups that you get together that are safe, that you can talk. Yes, the confidentiality isn't there, but you use your judgment about what you say. Sometimes you can just talk in experiences. And when you talk in these experiences, there are people with shared experiences. You don't have to give everybody all your milk and crammies and all the details and all the dirty deeds and stuff like that. This isn't what it's about. It's about things like feeling really unmotivated. That could be pointing to depression. I don't feel like getting up out of the bed. Oh, bruh, me too. Having a really hard time. What do we use? What do we do? Right? So it's not always about, I have to go and I got to look at my family history and look at all the trauma. Even though if you do have trauma, and I would say 90% of people do have trauma, it is good to look at, because processing that trauma is going to help you with your mental health too. It's a constant, it's a cycle, right? Why do I do the things I do? Why am I in the place I'm in? What man wants to talk about trauma, right? Because when men talk about trauma, oh, you're weak. No, you're a human being that something has happened to. I can't say it enough over and over again. I want to normalize men and mental health and talking about mental health. The things as a therapist that I hear, you would be surprised how many people say the same stuff that you say, that I say. It blows my mind every time. We're connected by shared experiences. You want to know why? Because we're all human beings. And when you're a human being, there are experiences. Some you share with others, some you don't. So I encourage you to have a brotherhood or have a person that you can check in with, right? Someone who listens, someone who is not judgmental, someone that you trust. Again, if therapy is an option, I encourage you to do that too. Even hopping into like little groups, right? Let's say I run strategies for anxiety group, hour and a half, virtual. You can hop in and get the information and hop out. You don't have to show your face on Zoom. You don't have to participate, but you can get the information. Tap into your resources. Your life depends on it. Being vulnerable sets you up for so many other things to heal. When you heal, you're whole. When you heal, you handle new situations better. So, having that vulnerability and it not being weakness, flip it around, reframe it. I'm strong because I spoke. I'm being honest. It's powerful. My words are powerful, right? Men, your life is just as important as everybody else's. Find your voice. Work through the shame, work through the guilt. I promise you, there are 10 people around you that have shared similar experiences and feelings. You're not alone in any of this. Then you need this emotional space. Families, give your men this safe space to be emotional. Okay? Encourage, don't pressure. Watch the words that you say. Don't fix it. Just listen. Don't fix it. Just listen. Pay attention to the men in your life and how they withdraw. A pattern. You'll always be seen when you're around someone long enough. If someone is challenging, I think one of the biggest things is emotions. Be aware of the nonverbal communication and the emotions that are being communicated through no words at all. Be observant. Mental health matters. It matters, right? So that silence might not be, I'm mad at you and I don't want to talk. That silence might be, my feelings are hurt. But I can't tell you that. I can't tell anybody that. I'm a man. How am I going to go tell another man that this woman hurt my feelings? Right? Men don't do that. They should. Just my opinion. I'm just saying, just my opinion. Just my opinion. Less headaches, less emotion. Uh, Maybe I'm living in utopia. I don't know, but I just want to bring awareness to it and let's talk about it. So um, we can start earlier. I said earlier, how you raise your child is your business. But you can give your child, especially your boys, strong emotional language. Don't be afraid to let your son express himself. Expand the emotional vocabulary. Everything doesn't have to be anger. Everything doesn't have to be anger. Give it a word, right? No, you're showing me you're angry, but what really happened, right? Did your feelings get hurt? Did you feel disrespected? What is it? Give a word. So, men, you're not weak for expressing yourself. You're not broken. You're not alone. You're none of that stuff. Not addressing your emotions might look like you don't think you deserve peace. I don't know, but you do. You do. The same way women exhale, men, you need to do that too. You need a place for that to happen. If no one can care for your emotions, you care for them. You make them a priority. You put the boundary. You be the emotion police in your life. Emotional regulation is good. But if you don't identify the emotions, you're not regulating anything, right? You're just an angry person. You're just miserable. You're just nasty. Think about the men in your life, grandparents, uncles, the older adults that, that's just a miserable person. Are they really miserable? Or have they never had a place to communicate how life lifed and the struggles that they were going to? So think of your friends, your brothers, your uncles, spouse, significant other, all the men in your life, the men you look at when you go to the store. Maybe some you don't know intimately, but others, you're just around. We tell a story, right? Let them know it's okay to have emotions and feel. It's all right. Let me see. Let's see if I forgot anything that I want to tell you. I think it was a lot. So I am really excited to bring some people on to talk about this because I have some amazing men in my life that have some fantastic stories that I think would shed a lot of light. It takes a long time for anyone to get to a point where you're not ashamed or you don't feel guilty and you kind of just let it go and you go with it, right? And the earlier we learn this, the better we are because I didn't wait 50 years to say how I feel. And we all get the opportunity to push this agenda, right? Push this tap in time, for lack of better words, to say, hey, men, you matter. Men, your mental health matters. You don't have to bleed alone. You don't have to stay silent. You can have a voice. You can do all those things. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you inferior. It doesn't make you any of those things. What it makes you is human. So thanks for joining me today. Thanks for coming in and kicking it with me on such an important topic. Take this information and start having a dialogue, whether you agree or disagree. Even the disagreement starts the conversation. And that's what it's all about for me. So, men, we love you and we want you to be whole. We want you to be healed. So, grace, peace, and blessings over your life. I will see you on the next Kicking It with Dr. Kelz podcast. Be well, be blessed.